Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dreadzone Gaming Stream as we're bringing you OGR vs DZG Olympus. Bans are coming in hot as immediately Mobster Penguin gets targeted with a Cassiopeia ban and Dreadzone retaliate with an Irelia ban. I am joined with Faye, who will be providing some color casting for everybody's ears tonight. Faye, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jace?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. A little bit of a busy week, but I'm here for some Dreadzone action. We see the Aphelios come in, taking away Non's champion, and they immediately retaliate with a Camille again. Seraphine wiped off the board, and waiting for the third ban to come in now. Let's go ahead and take a look real quick as I pull it up. A little bit from the teams last played, and getting a little bit more insight on these picks and bans. Faye, what are some of your thoughts? What was the one big thing you really want to see come out this week?
I want to see more coordination from DZG Olympus. I feel that the past couple of weeks, their coordination felt a little bit skewed coming out of their lane phase and going into their mid game. So hoping to see them kind of tied together, work more as a team more than individual units.
Understood. So, Omega Gaming Revenants, they're gonna immediately gun for that Leona first pick, which they've played quite a bit with either a Kaisa or a Vayne, and on occasion the Zig, so all three really strong picks. And immediately we see support and Non default right back to that Rel Tristana, which they have played quite a bit. Not their typical Rel Kaisa, but just a little bit of a transition here. So, Faye, talk to me. Do you feel like the Tristana instead of the Kaisa here is the right move coming out from Dreadzone?
I think Tristana offers Nan a lot more safety than what Kaisa can, because Kaisa wants to go in. She doesn't really have any reliable methods of escape after she ults in. Tristana, however, has that reset on rocket jump. She can get into the fight and get out of the fight, as well as with the Gale Force build that Tristana is running recently. It's very strong.
Right.
300 undodgeable damage. I mean, who can complain about that?
For sure. So that does enable the side of Omega Gaming Revenants to pick up that Kaisa, which they had, like I said, been playing with that Leona, and then they go immediately for the Hecarim. And I'm not entirely sure if that's something that they wanted, because they have no games with that Hecarim so far, or if that's really something they wanted to take away from Power over Ethernet. Which, I mean, both are good options, right? And Mobster Penguin, because he has been the target of so many bans throughout, the series. I mean, we look at Dreadzone last week versus Omega Gaming Fury, how heavily they targeted this man's mid lane pool. They go ahead and pick up the red side mid lane pick. Probably going to protect it with some bans here, as I stand corrected. They opt to ban the Hecarim out, or the Mordekaiser out, sorry. And that will enable them to, have a little bit of safety with the Rise if they so choose to do that. But yeah, I love this champion today, because every time I see Mobster Penguin on this champion, we really see that level 6 come out, Realm Warp starts doing things, and whether it's good or bad for the team, we're seeing action. It's something to talk about and really something to keep your eyes on.
I think he's a very good Rise. Every time I've seen his realm warps, he's very proactive on the map. He's always looking for an opportunity, and he takes the lead. And that's something I like to see, especially from a mid laner. You're in the middle of the map. You have the most access to your side lanes, your jungler. You are the one who can make things happen outside of your jungler, and he's very good at making sure things happen and things get done.
Absolutely. And now we see the Sejuani being picked up here, which I'm a little meh about just because Sejuani really has no melee champions here to work with on the team. We still have that last pick in the top lane, which, it's a really interesting draft adaptation. Aiden decided to R3 the Rise, and instead of protecting the Rise with bans, he decided to really layer down and ban 2 more from Noodle on the side of Omega Gaming Revenants, which, they're giving Tony Lil so many resources in this draft. I wonder if it's a safety defensive kind of mechanism, or they're really looking for something spicy here. And Faye, I'm excited to see these last 2 picks come in.
I'm looking. Well, we do have another melee. We have Rel. Rel can help proc off the Sejuani. I'm hoping to see another melee from the top side, though that's very probable. Syndra into Rise is another control mage matchup, so I'm looking forward to seeing how both mages play that out, as they have similar positioning ideals for their lane. So it's going to be a matter of who gets what they want, who gets the ideal situation here. And they do get the Malphite, which is a really, really good pick for their comp. The Rel, the Malphite.
We don't know yet. They're bouncing between the two. And
they're both really good.
They're settling with the Malphite here. So, it's not the hypey matchup that I wanted to see, right? They put a lot of resources for Tony Lil. They gave him the last pick. They turned around and said, hey, look, we're going to ban out 2 more champions. And they end up opting for the Malphite, which is a really strong engage tool, really strong setup tool. But I really don't think it fares too incredibly well into the Kled. I mean, yeah, Malphite can just throw rocks and then run away and then build armor. So we'll definitely see how this matchup works and see what really happens with those level 6s. Does the Kled opt to go, cross map into the mid and really upset what Mobster Penguin wants to do? Is Kled going to be able to win the 1v1s here? It's going to be really interesting to watch.
It will, and I'm looking forward to this game. I like both these comps. I think they both bring a lot to the game, and it's going to make this very interesting. There hopefully will be no lack of action in this game. For sure, with both of these comps. We have Kled, Hecker, and Leona, 3 champions who want to go in. We have Malphite, Sejuani, Rel, Tristana, and Rise. These are both 2 hard engaging comps going toe-to-toe with each other, which to me spells an interesting game.
Absolutely, and we're seeing these picks and bans come in now on the official client. And overall, Faye, I really want to get your opinion here. We see the full team comps fleshed out. We're really seeing what each team wants to do. Who are you giving the edge here to?
I want to give it to Olympus here. Not just out of bias or anything, but that comp is much more easier to execute, I feel, than Omega's comp.
Right, well, we are taking a little bit of a step up. We are in the Platinum League here, so the ease of execution really isn't that big of a factor as it would be in a Gold League, but I feel ya. They definitely have a lot of team fight capabilities here, whereas, the side of Omega Gaming Revenants really want to move around the map, smart macro with abilities like the Kled, the burst potential of the Syndra, and really joining in the Kaisa from a distance with her ultimate. Whereas if you clump up and give DZG the opportunity, if they're the ones initiating something and they see the opportunity, it's going to be a really hard fight for Omega Gaming to really pull themselves out of. But also, once again, it's really dependent on these ultimates being successful. The good look from Rel, the follow-up with a Malphite, or the initiation from the Malphite, the right Realm Morphs, the right Glacial Prison coming from the Sejuani. So there's going to be a lot here going on both of these teams, and I'm really excited to see how these teams are going to execute. And, the upset opportunities in the lane phase, right? Like, Malphite loves to go mid-6 if he doesn't have anything going on his lane. Kled's able to do the same thing. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to shape up, especially in the gank opportunities here too, because Sejuani and Hecarim both have pretty strong early gank opportunities that can really upset lane states.
I'm going to take prediction here and say we're going to be playing the whose lane is it anyway game with all these champions that they can roam. Kled likes to leave his lane, Malphite can leave his lane, Ryze can roam. Syndra probably is going to take teleport and follow that. Kai'Sa can ult herself into mid lane. Whose lane is it anyway, Jace?
Absolutely, Faye. Well, we're gonna figure out that hopefully soon, as we are now about to enter the waiting period and the spectate delay. Ladies and gentlemen, can Dreadzone Gaming get revenge on the Omega Gaming organization after their 1-2 loss last week? Well, stick around and find out, and we'll see how Game 1 goes. So catch us in about 3 minutes. We'll be right back. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Dread Zone Gaming Olympus versus Omega Gaming Revenants. So we're looking to see kind of what both teams are going to be doing level 1. Not really seeing anything too crazy right now in the itemization, but it seems like we're not having any sort of pings coming out. Maybe we are on the bot side of the map there, but kind of looks like a standard 5-point fan out. Nothing really too crazy happening here, Faye. What are you really expecting to see in this early game?
I'm really concerned, actually, Jace, looking at that corrupting pot from the Malphite. Normally when I see corrupting pot as a mid laner, that tells me I'm lucky to fight you early. I want to trade with you. And, that corrupting pot makes me a little sketched out, because I don't know if Malphite should be trying to tangle with this Kled at all.
So yeah, actually, Malphite does take corrupting potion, and the reason is because his first couple of Qs that he's using is really just to get his mana flow ban procs, and he kind of utilizes the Q as his primary way of escaping trades, trading into the Kled. Because like if Kled connects with his Q, then Malphite utilizes his Q, throws a rock, gets the movement speed, Xavier to leave. Now the Malphite Q does cost quite a bit of mana, so chugging some corrupting pots to get a little bit of that mana regen going before you finish your mana flow band is kind of the stratagem here for most Malphite players. So 9 times out of 10 as a Malphite, you will be taking that corrupting potion in the lane. It's not really indicative of an aggressive lane here.
But hear me out. Why not take Doran's ring here? Because Kled's gonna want to trade with you. He has a trap. He's gonna be able to get on top of you, and he's gonna do a lot of damage to his auto attacks. Wouldn't Doran's ring be just as, if not more, effective in this matchup?
No, because you really also want the health, taking suboptimal trades from the Malphite as well. So getting a little bit of that health regen as well is pretty optimal for the Malphite. So it's typically pretty common, and even when he comes
Right.
back, if he takes a bad back, then you refresh your stacks of
That's fair.
corrupting
I guess you do save money on like potions.
Oh,
in
we are
general.
immediately seeing some action in here. Power over Ethernet goes for the flash and gets nothing for it. Very questionable. Syndra wasn't even forced to really respect flash or anything else right there. So, power over Ethernet looking for something cheeky level 1, but there just wasn't
overzealous.
enough, especially from a level 1 rise. Like, there's nothing going on there. So, flash bone from power over Ethernet, but let's see if it gives Rise a little bit of a lane pressure, as Syndra was chunked down, forced to blow 1 potion, but I don't think that was the optimal move there, Faye.
I don't really agree with that one there. I think it was a little overzealous, especially considering how close she was to her tower. Maybe that wasn't very well communicated, because the Cinder should have been a little bit more far forward to try something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was nice that it landed, but, I mean, no real follow-up potential there. But, maybe it could give something here, as we're seeing the trades come out from Nodal into Tony Low, kind of as I expect in the level 1 trades there. Malphite throws a rock, and Kled kind of connects with that E and gets his empowered auto attacks off from his W's, or I'm sorry, his Q, for the connecting the bear trap on a rope, and then the follow-up W attacks. But yeah, Kled's gonna get dismounted here pretty soon, as we see power over Ethernet sitting in a bush, and the Hecarim is down here in the bot lane. We see the engage come out from the support, and first blood goes over to support yet again. I think we're seeing a little bit of the action from last week. Galaxy Meat picks up the kill in support, but now the damage is going over to Hecarim. Pepsi picks that one up, and it is a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Dread Zone Gaming. And that was just good all around. Dread Zone pulled the trigger first, and they came up aces on that. But unfortunately, not both kills going over the Tristana. 1-for-1 for the Kai'Sa and the Tristana getting the trade there. But overall, that card's coming up Dread Zone. So they should be very happy to see that, as they take a 500 gold lead in the early game.
Honestly, I'm not too upset about our support here getting that
Power
first kill, because
Ethernet goes back in, doesn't get the damage really, or the lockup from the Rise, so nothing's gonna come of that. Sorry, Faye, for interrupting. Just
completely
making
fine.
sure we get that action in.
Like I said, more action in the bot lane.
Don't think we're gonna see anything of this one, as Galaxy Meep wasn't hit by the engage there from the Rel. Sorry, words are hard with a puppy crying. Wasn't actually hit up by the engage there from the Rel, so nothing really comes, just able to walk that one out. But, Dread Zone's bot lane looking very aggressive here.
They can afford to be this aggressive with the Rel Tristana comp. This is very safe. Rel has a reliable engage. Not only do we have the reliable engage, but we also have good safety net with Tristana. As long as that bomb procs, she can get back out of a bad situation.
Certainly, and we're seeing exactly what we'd expect in the top lane. Malphite getting pushed in, farming up as best as he can. He's down to one more biscuit there for any sort of mana regen. Probably not going to be seeing any more trades coming out of that laner. As we kind of see, just things chilling here, people taking their recalls a little bit in that low state right now. And I'm really curious to see what's going to be happening at this first dragon. Who's going to want it? What are they going to do? And, Nodal here recognizes the Malphite is really low on resources right now, is able to take those aggressive trades in. Pepsi opting not to back and decides to farm it out a little bit more. So, like I said, just kind of seeing that slow state right now. But I don't know, Faye. Who do you think has the best ability to take this first dragon?
If DZG's bot lane backs right now, I would say DZG, but they really, really need to back. Tristana is probably sitting on a good amount of gold, and we don't want Tristana sitting on that much gold.
Absolutely, especially when, you go back, you get your Noon Quiver, and really helps out with that power differentials. And, Kaisa also has a little bit of gold to get, or go back and get as well, or to spend rather as well, as we're seeing a trade come out, does not go Dreadzone's way. I think they're just going to walk this one off as, across the map, just kind of seeing things stagnate. Tony Lowe goes in for the all-in, but the Kled is looking very close to getting his... Ooh, did not get the remount as that Q comes in at the last second and does kill him. We're seeing now support going in, only getting the knock-up on Jadon, and the damage coming out. Do they have the damage here? Power over Ethernet is in the bot lane. Rel is low, and Rel is dead. Damage coming out now on the pony, but it is now a 2 for 3 as Galiki steps up, trying to get some of the damage out, but that's going to be all she wrote. Trade or a kill going up in favor of DZG in the top lane, but the kill in the bot lane not going their way as Kaisa is now sitting 2-0, and Dreadzone just did not have the man in the right position when things started going on, whereas Omega Gaming did. So it's going to be about still even in the gold lead, but I'd rather a kill on a Kaisa than a kill on a Malphite here, Faye.
Yeah, and that's also 2 kills on the Kaisa, and we don't want to see that right now. That's really dangerous. Kaisa could start scaling much earlier than what they would like her to, and that could make her a little problematic to deal with as we start inching into the mid to late game of this game.
Certainly. We have 2 hyper carries really on either side with this Tristana and this Kaisa, and whichever one really starts getting that heavy lead first is it's going to be a dangerous story. As we're seeing the Kled now not really having any regrets about that last fight, just milliseconds determined how that play really went. But we start talking about that DPS threat, and we have the Rise as well for the side of Dreadzone to be that hyper carry too, but Syndra having the delete potential is scary, as support taking a really bad trade there, half health now on this row.
Right now, looks like DZG is posturing for this first dragon with Hecarim on the top side and Leona in mid. Hopefully they'll be able to sneak this out before Leona starts rotating down towards them.
And Jadon had a very suboptimal Hex Flash there, really wasn't able to get in range of that Zenith Blade, so nothing happens there. Mobster Penguin feeling really safe, and Dreadzone go ahead and secure that first Drake. Stun comes out, but I really don't think that the members of Omega Gaming have really what they need. And Leona's just kind of chilling here, leeching experience. We see that XP lead coming out from support. Support's going to hit level 6 on this row before that Leona does, and I think that's going to be very impactful for, things looking for Dreadzone. Rel goes in. I think that interrupted the flash from Jadon, as now Leona's getting focused down, stunned up, damage coming out. Rise picks it up. Good job, Mobster Penguin, securing that kill. And
very clean pick.
Confirming, I think that was the flash coming immediately back up for Jadon, and then just immediately going back down, as support had a very good engage there on that Rel to really lock up that Leona. And I mean, without that flash, Leona has no way to go or get out. Typically, Leona's a very go-in champion, as now they're posturing on this Bob side. Mobster Penguin, I think, covering down here with the Realm Warp, yes, available. They might be looking at this Kaisa, but Leona's going to be coming back soon. I don't think they want it, and yes, that's going to be the call. We just see Sejuani going on those Krugs. Kind of what you'd expect in the top lane. Gnar growing that lead out, kind of pushing Malphite in all game. But Malphite having a little bit more of a comfortable position after getting that kill. Zenith Blade connects on the Sejuani and going to kind of chase Power over Ethernet off of these Krugs. And Power over Ethernet is in enemy territory with not a lot of friends here. He does finally regroup with his members. Glacial Person comes out, connects on Jadon yet again, but now damage coming out as Power over Ethernet is blown up by the Syndra. who came down. Now we're seeing another fight on the top side as Kled gets on top of Mobster Penguin with this Kled and damage going out, Ignite out, and finally we see 2 members on either side. We see support dying to the Kaisa from Omega Gaming, and we're also seeing Rise fall to the Kled. Tony Lil doing everything he can to get the damage out, and he does get the trade kill onto Miharu's Hecarim, but Nodal picks up that kill, and we now see Kled picking up 2 quick kills and really changing the landscape, I think, of this top lane. And yes, confirming that Kled also did secure that Rift Herald, so overall, things not going DZG's way as they're now sitting at a 1.4k gold deficit. Herald is now in their possession to really snowball that out. And the way that top lane has been going, Faye, with Kled always having the push, I anticipate that's where first tower is going to fall, Faye.
That was really not good for DZG.
Oh,
because...
Pepsi went in, but the damage is there. We see the bomb blow up, the stun coming out. The Ignite now coming down, support with a huge play, but will support be able to do it? Does not, as I think that was a heal coming out from Galaxy Meep, even despite the Ignite being out, not enough, but support really saving Tristana big time, as Tristana thought that they had the damage, but that Kaisa sitting on a serrated dirt pickaxe to the Tristana's Noon Quiver, that is not the trade you want here, Faye. We're seeing more come out as some of the damage connecting onto Miharu's Hecarim. We see Power Over Ethernet charge and misses. Jadon is now here. They're at a 2v3 as the members of DZG's bot lane are finally coming up. But will it be enough? Is anything going to happen? Support's looking for it. Damage or slows coming out from Power Over Ethernet. Nothing really going to happen here as support doesn't pull the trigger. Malphite now here does not have the unstoppable force available. Things going to fizzle out. Faye, I hate to keep interrupting you, but shit just keeps happening. Gold lead now sitting at 1.3k in the favor of Omega Gaming, as like I said, that Herald being dropped in the top lane because Malphite decided to leave. A lot of gold, 480 gold going into the Kled's pocket, and he's still pressing on this. Should get this tower, and I think if they fight, that Kled's gonna win this.
If I was Tony Lil, I would be leaving right now. I do not want to be here with that Kled.
Well, he has plenty of ways to get out. He has unstoppable force available along with the flash, but I don't think you want to burn either of those.
Yeah.
Kled sitting on a lot of gold here as Galaxy Meat getting a lot of damage out. Rel forced to go over that wall. But yeah, Faye, like I was saying, Hecarim. Kled is now sitting at a 30 CS lead. He's tied in kills, but he just got all that tower gold all to himself. That is going to be very dangerous. He's already got his mythic, and I don't think... Oh, yeah, he has backed, so... Yeah, he's a full mythic ahead, and, on that Caulfield's Warhammer as well, Faye.
Ooh, it's looking really dicey in the top lane, but I assume going into this top lane that Tony Little knew he didn't want to fight this Kled. And now this Kled is strong, and he's roaming around the map, and... Ooh, that is not fortunate. Rise getting picked off in the river.
Right, so we did see... everybody kind of converging on that Rise. Mobster Penguin does fall, and the kill went over to Miharu's Hecarim. And that's going to be some very suboptimal timing. It's 10 seconds here. We see the Drake spawning, but support goes in. The Hecarim responds with his ultimate. Damage coming out. Pepsi forced a rocket jump out. Now the damage going on to support, who does fall. The damage is still pumping out from the side of Dread Zone. Kled remounts, looking to go back in. Getting on top of Tony Liu, I think, is the target. As we see a 2-man stun coming out from the Syndra. 2 quick kills. Kled picking both of those up as Malphite and Tristana fall. Damage now focusing on over to Power Over Ethernet. Mobster Penguin forced to teleport in, but I think it's too late, too sad. Mobster Penguin walking back in, getting bursted on by this Kled. The bear trap on a rope does not pull him back as Nodal's still going forward, pumping out the damage. Jadon flashes, get the stun, damage coming out. Nodal is unstoppable as we're seeing Galaxy Meep going on to Power Over Ethernet in the jungle in a 1v1. This game has gone from bad to ugly as Omega Gaming are now sitting at a 5k lead, picked up the dragon, and now hard pressuring this mid tower with plates falling. Support here trying to do what he can to stop this, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Faye, this is looking very disastrous for the side of Dreadzone Gaming Olympus.
They're going to need to do a lot of work to try and recover this game. This gold deficit is quite drastic. Their Rise has fallen behind. Kaisa and Kled are very ahead, and these are 2 champions that can run away with the game if they are enabled, and I do believe they are.
I would love to be in the head of Dreadzone Gaming real quick. They lost Mobster Penguin, who was a very strong threat, right? Or at least offering them the ability to have the numbers tie, right? And in that moment, without that individual for that dragon play, support going in was super suboptimal. Especially when you look at it and you say, hey, look, who has my most AoE damage in a perfect world, right? Flux coming out with the Qs from Rise spreads so much AoE AP damage that I honestly think if they had Mobster Penguin there, that play would have looked completely different. But, if wishes were, reality, then this game would be a different story, but that's just not the case here, Faye.
Wishes are not reality. That is very true. But however, that fight. Let's look at the positives.
We see 3 members down here. Mobster Penguin is up too far. Syndra gets the stun out. Nodal's here to pick up another kill, dominating on this Gled. 6-1 with a 550 gold bounty. This man is just doing work. And we're seeing the gold be in 2 dangerous places here for Omega Gaming. It's on the Kled, and it's on the Kaisa. And really, that's gotta be a scary story for Dreadzone to deal with. Gold lead now is 6k. Faye, how do they get back in this game?
The really only thing I think they can do is try to... There are 3 shutdowns on the enemy team, right? The best that we can do is try to get these 3 shutdowns and try our damnedest to put them on the Tristana and the Rise, because that's where the money needs to be right now. Though, how we get to that point is a different story. I'm hoping that they can try to look for opportune picks across the map, and I hope that's what they can achieve.
Alright, we're seeing a little bit more action now as a lot of damage coming onto Nodal. Nodal is now locked up, forced to dismount, damage coming out. It's keep coming. Pepsi almost died to the Kled, who is absolutely massive, but Kled was not able to get the remount, does finally fall, and it looks like Power over Ethernet on this Sejuani was the one that picked up the kill. Not who you wanted to go to, but getting that kill secured is a lot better than losing 1 member for that trade here. So Kled off the map, you have a little bit of time to do something, who just overstepped, but honestly, almost was able to turn that around for a 1v1 with a 1-for-1 rather. And I think that was a 4v1? So this Kled is absolutely scary. Has a lot of healing in his kit right now, and Dreadzone has no magic resistance. We see the engage come out, unstoppable force from Tony Little hits 2 members, Zuli being the target, but the Hecarim is retaliating with his own ultimate. Pepsi of Time falls to Jadon. Now we're seeing Power over Ethernet pick up the kill on Zui. Now damage going out onto the Hecarim as he's finally picked off by the Rise. Now their focus is Jadon, who is getting hit. Looking for this blast cone, will it be enough? Rise misses the Q. Power over Ethernet goes over the wall, picks up the kill on a killing spree on this Sejuani. 3-1 as Jadon falls. Now Nodal is back up, looking to defend this mid lane. Hits the bear trap on a rope on support, going all in, putting this damage out. Members of Dreadzone here pumping damage. Not enough to get that dismount as Nodal is just staying strong. Members of DZG forcing in this wave, but I don't think they'll look for anything more as Kaisa is now coming up from the bot lane jungle and will be there to help out. And Dreadzone with a couple quick kills here, balancing things out a little bit, but still a 5k deficit. Nodal here looking very aggressively, hits Mobster Penguin with a bear trap on the rope, rooted up, looking to ult out, but support is in the right place at the right time. Damage now coming out as Nodal was forced to dismount, but did pick up the kill. Looking for his remount again, not going to get it as the root comes out. Power over Ethernet picking up all these kills, and unfortunately, Faye, that's not where we want the gold.
We do not want the gold on the jungler here, no. That at least Rise taken one of the shutdowns, but that 650 gold shutdown did not go to the Tristana where the money needs to be. She needs her items. And I'm not too sure how I feel about Kraken Slayer in this game. I think I would have preferred to see a Gale Force from her, but we'll see how tanky this enemy team gets. Looks like we're setting up for the dragon now as well. We do have the red team going in. Jace, there's a fight happening.
Yeah, we are seeing this as we're seeing the damage come in. Jadon forced to flash over that wall with Hex Flash. Damage coming out. Support does take down Zui, but Zui turning around, getting the kill on Power Reaver from that. Hecarim goes in, gets some of the damage out. Now it looks like we're just seeing a scattered fight as Tristana does fall to the Kaisa. Kled takes down the Malphite, and while it looked like it was going to be a good engage there from the side of Dreadzone, Omega Gaming do end up trading it 3-for-1 and taking that fight, and it looks like they're going to be taking that Drake as well. Not Soul Point just yet, but an Ocean Drake with how much they're already healing, and Dreadzone only having two sources of Grievous Wounds is a little suspect, as now they're starting to lose all of their stuff on the bot side jungle.
The Grievous Wounds they do have is that it's not proactive. We're relying on the Malphite and the Sejuani being auto-attacked, and that's not reliable against this kind of team comp. We want to see Grievous Wounds on this Rise with that Oblivion Orb, even if we're just buying the Oblivion Orb, I do think it is a necessary buy with how strong this Kled is.
Do you think it's a necessary buy in the realm of delaying your Archangel staff? Because we see the needlessly large rod picked up, the tier is fully stacked, just needs that Amp Tome and the combined cost. As we're seeing a little bit of aggression here from Omega Gaming as we're in this topside jungle. Nodal is taking this red buff and will just E out. I don't think we're going to see any more of this. But Pepsi, no, Rise was the one that ended up securing that red buff from Kled. As Omega Gaming just kind of feeling fearless, walking into Dreadzone's topside jungle and saying, hey, contest this if you can. We think we'll win the fights.
And I think they do. I think they could stat check Olympus right now, and I think they win every single stat check. Look at how strong the Kled is. They're engaged. They're Kaisa. They're really, really strong. And I think it's just going to be really hard for them to keep up.
We're seeing the Herald dropped here in the mid lane as 4 members here strong from the side of Omega Gaming. Kled is, I think, close to being within range with his ultimate. One thing I didn't actually notice or call out earlier, we're seeing a little bit of action here as Tony Lil goes in. Actually, I don't think he uses his Unstoppable Force yet. Getting bursted down. Fear coming out now as Miharu oversteps. Pepsi actually securing that kill. Now damage going out on Zui Syndra, who was a little overstepped. Kled finally showing up, but getting, put in the bounce house here as he's getting stunned up under tower. Forced to dismount now. Damage coming out. Nodal being focused. And I think Nodal is going to go down as the Rise does pick up that shutdown gold. 5 members still alive on Dreadzone as they are looking at the remaining 2 members, the bot lane from Omega Gaming, and that was what you wanted to see. Omega Gaming pulling the trigger a little too aggressively, and they did not win that fight. They did not execute properly. A little bit of mispositioning there is now damage coming out. Tristana's bomb does blow up on this tower. Some low health bars here as the Jadon does go in with the Zenith Blade. Damage now going out onto Tony Low. Ticking. Not going to die. Power over Ethernet now being the focus. The Kaisa ults in, does get the kill onto the Malphite. Support now being the focus. Double kill over here for Galaxy Meep as now Mobster Penguin being focused down. And I think this will do it as the Kaisa does flash the Q from the Rise and triple kill over this Kaisa in a 2v5. That is not what you wanted to see. Dreadstone overstay their welcome, do not get the tower, and ended up losing 3 members, all of which going over to this Kaisa, and that is a death threat. Now, on Dreadzone's door, they have to do something to shut down this Kaisa, get this gold in their pocket, find ways to blow them up before these fights go disastrously wrong. 6k gold lead, and Omega Gaming are now focusing on this Nash Fed.
I think the real issue with that fight there, Jace, is that they were just way too overzealous. Our front line is low. We're trying to dive these 2 under the turret. Kaisa has Kraken Slayer, so she can just cut through the front line. And now because of this overzealous play, we're going to lose a Baron. However, we do see Power Ethernet in position. Support going in as well. They're looking for the steal, but do they
does
get
not
it?
get the steal as the side of Omega Gaming do secure it. Damage now coming out. A lot of ultimates being used. First of all, it's Pepsi, who is just mispositioned. Now we see Power Ethernet going down. I think Tony Lil will be the next to fall. Maybe not. Support is in the front. Does fall. Members going forward as the Kled is fearless going after Mobster Penguin and Tony Lil. Blast Cone coming out from Mobster Penguin as he gets over the wall. Tony Lil now being focused. Kaisa is here. Damage going out with the Q. Not going to be enough. Ticking. W does secure it. Galaxy Meep, legendary with 9-0. And I feel like I'm, just stuttering every time I say Galaxy Meep's name, like I'm misspeaking. Such an odd name. But we have 5 members of Omega Gaming here strong, barreling down this tower. Take 1. Will they look for the inhibitor tower? No. It looks like they're going to go back, take the resets here, and maybe look for that Drake and kind of get a little bit more healing in their pockets. But Faye, that is disastrous. We're now looking at a 10k gold lead for the side of Omega Gaming.
That was not what we want to see. And the thing is, Olympus is getting really good fights. These engages are really good. I just feel like we're not focusing the right people. I just feel like we're not putting enough damage on the right targets. And that's the problem here. If we can get that damage onto the right targets, we bring this game back. But
well, we're seeing it again now as members going in. Support gets a really good engage here. Teleport being channeled now from, I believe, Monster Penguin. But support does fall. Members coming out now as a huge unstoppable force hits 4 members. The damage is being spread, but Pepsi over time does fall to Zooey. Damage still coming out. Noda was in the front line. Looks like he's about to get his remount. Stunned up. Does get the remount. Double kill over for Zooey Syndra. Triple kill over for the Syndra. And that is a clean ace. Teleport coming in now. Sorry, not clean. Jadon did fall. Teleport coming into the mid lane from Noda, and they are looking to barrel into this base. 11 seconds on support. I don't think it will be enough. I don't think the death timers are long enough for them to get the win here. Damage coming out. Looks like mid and tower will fall. Inhibitor will fall. Are they going to keep looking for it? A little bit of a split decision here, but it looks like they are going to go for it. Kaisa is taking the back right now. They might just take one tower and then call it a day. Noodle does lose his mount. Pepsi looking very aggressively, flashes in, gets the damage out. Satchel should blow up, but will it be enough? Noodle almost remounting, does not get it as the shutdown does go over to Pepsi. They get up just in time to secure it, and a little bit of a mixed call here from the side of Omega Gaming. I think if they kept that Kaisa up, they would have been fine to stay, but they definitely had a split decision there, Faye.
There definitely was a very split call, and Tristana getting that shutdown gold is good, but we are 25 minutes into the game, Jace, and she doesn't even have her second item completed yet, and that is absolutely disastrous.
Right, well, Dragon being the focus, we're seeing the teleport now from, I do believe, Mobster. Last one was the Malphite, not. But he immediately gets in, gets stunned up. Galaxy Meat picking up the kill. Zooey is now the focus, but does have the stopwatch available, or maybe a full Zanias. It is the Zanias, so damage not going to be coming out here as they reposition. Jadon getting on the front line. Galaxy Meat looking for the damage. Do get the lockup onto the Tony Lil's Malphite. Malphite is going to fall to Galaxy Meat, who is now legendary. 13-0 on this Kaisa, an absolute madman. This damage is insane. They're now looking for Pepsi. The Farsight ward does come out. W will not connect. Galaxy Meat going for it, healing to get the damage out. Legendary again, picking up the kill on Pepsi, as we do see that Syndra did get the kill on Rel solo. A lot of fighting going out, not a lot going in the favor of Dreadzone. Dragon was actually picked up by Dreadzone, so they were able to get that in their pocket, but I don't think it's worth for the body count that is being racked up from the side of Omega Gaming here, Faye.
Don't think it was either, and this game is it's been spiraling out of control, but that spiral is going a lot faster now. But I still am holding out hope that Olympus can pull this off, because like I said in Champs, like, they have the easier comp to execute, and I feel like as if easier comps to execute can really shine when they're behind, because it's easier to do what you need to do. We just need the damage in the right places.
Certainly, but we did see a lot of good things coming out from Dreadzone's last fight. Not the one that we just saw, but the one previous to that. And that Dragon Pit with a 4-man Malphite ult, but I just don't know if the target selection was there. And I think everything they wanted to do, they did, but they just don't have the gold in their pockets, Faye. This Kaisa is massive. This Kled is massive. And look where your gold's at. It's not on your Ryze. It's not on your Shostana. Most of it's sitting in the pocket of your Sejuani, which just really feels bad. You even start looking at the CS numbers. The only place they have a CS positivity rather, is in the mid lane. But, you know, this Syndra is doing work. The Kaisa has been online for a day and a half. Because we're now seeing the siege set up here onto this top lane. 5 members strong. The Solar Flare comes out. Now, looks like we have a lot of damage going. Mobster doing everything that they can to reposition. Galaxy Meat getting hit. Does use the ultimate to stay alive, but does get shut down by the Sejuani. Damage now coming out onto Pepsi over time, who is gonna fall to this Kled with the Ignite. Kled now being locked up. Will they get the remount? It looks like they will, just in time. Tony Lil being focused under the tower. Syndra is now getting a double kill. Mobster Penguin, the only individual on Dreadzone left, and I think this has to be game, as 4 members are strong on the side of Omega Gaming. They take one in Nexus Tower. The second one about to fall is Mobster Penguin kind of doing what they can to pump out as much damage as they can. Do get the kill on Jadon, but it's not going to be enough, as the Ryze is the Kled is able to go down and get the kill on the Ryze. Nexus is getting focused down, and this will be game 1, going over to the side of Omega Gaming Revenants.
That honestly could have been a much closer game if we took those fights just a little bit differently. Just a little bit. If we had the focus on the right targets, that gold going to the right people, that game could have been much different.
Well, Kled was just so hard to focus down when they were strong, and then Kled living so long was able to let Syndra and Kaisa really do what they wanted. We're seeing that reflected here in these damage charts, as Ryze was able to try to get a lot of damage out, but just not enough. And Tristana was never able to get online, was actually out damaged by the Sejuani. Just a little bit of mispositioning from both teams as well, but mostly being damning on the side of Dreadzone here. And, you know, it's it's the story that we saw. Kled got super far ahead with a lot of smart plays, or maybe just by chilling in the lane and getting the Herald, taking the gold when the Malphite left, and it it's the story of saying it's like the Trinomir mentality, right? Like, okay, well, I can let Trinomir do his thing and go do other stuff, and then you look back and your tower's gone, and Trinomir is able to one shot you, just because you opted not to play into the fights, and Trinomir just did his thing, or kind of the Nasus situation. We're like, yeah, we'll just not focus on the Nasus, and then Nasus comes and one shots you with a cane. You know, they left Kled alone, but Kled was able to get a massive lead, mainly because that Herald just came up so big. What, almost 700 gold just from that Herald and first tower? So, ah, you hate to
It
see it if you're a Dread Zone fan.
could have been closer.
Absolutely. So, Faye, kind of going into it, what does Dread Zone need to do differently? Because their strategy of kind of focus elsewhere on the map just didn't pan out. The bot lane was never able to get snowballing just because of some of the trades going suboptimally.
I'm just trying to think here. I feel as if like again, like I can't like shake that. I feel that the biggest issue was the gold not going to where it needed to be. And I feel that that's like a trending pattern with Olympus, whether it's support stealing the kill or power over Ethernet, but that gold isn't going where we need it to be. And that's very problematic for them, especially when you're behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we saw a grueling game one. Let's see if Dreadzone can come back and break their lose streak versus the Omega Gaming organization, as we'll bring you draft for game two very shortly. Stay tuned.
Owie.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing you Game 2 draft of Omega Gaming Revenants versus Dreadzone Gaming Olympus. We're already seeing the bands start to come in now as we see kind of the same stuff happening here. The Cassiopeia, the Aphelios, the Seraphine, the Camille, the Irelia, and let's see if we get the magical third band lining up. Yep, that Viego being taken off the table. Omega Gaming getting their blue side again, and they kind of might decide to run it back as Dreadzone Gaming are opting in for the same thing. So maybe it was a little bit of a, hey, we just really didn't execute things properly, but instead this time they're deciding that say, hey, look, we really want to put power over Ethernet on the hacker room and not let that be taken away. But I fully expect here to see the Rel or the Leona and the Kaisa pair again. I think that was a really strong lane coming out from Omega Gaming. They piloted it well. And the Kaisa was just really able to do what she wanted to do. 2 seconds left. And Kindred actually coming out from the side of Omega Gaming. So a little bit of a draft adaptation here. Now they no longer have the Hecarim. For the side of Omega Gaming, they decide to go for the Kindred, and it's really going to be fun to watch the mini game of the marks coming out. Syndra being the pick now, so Dreadzone has the chance here to look for that red side mid lane pick again. Maybe deny the Kaisa because Kaisa is really strong, and I just feel like Pepsi's Tristana really wasn't able to get rolling, and maybe putting in a little bit more of that powerful, comfortable pick of the Kaisa into Pepsi's hand, matching up with Rel. But looks like they will be locking in the Rise again, who didn't really have the greatest showing, kind of overstayed in some situations, really wasn't able to use the Realm Warp too efficiently to really pull the trigger and get things rolling. Kind of seeing the same thing here again, the Mordekaiser ban coming out, and I fully anticipate Set being the next ban from the side of Dreadzone Gaming, is, kind of that seems to be their MO for this draft strategy, is pick the mid, and then go ahead and deny the 2 top lane picks. But Omega Gaming actually deciding to say, hey, look, let's take away the Kaisa and not enable the Rel Kaisa bot lane. So maybe they're the ones worried about, Dreadzone kind of going after that. Which is a little surprising for me, kind of knowing that they picked the Tristana last time with the Rel, not really being pressured for that decision. They had the Kaisa available, opted for the Tristana, so we might be seeing that here again, as I think they're going to want to give Tony Lil that draft resource in the top lane again, who just was not really able to prevent Kled from doing what he wanted to do. Was able to get the solo kill, which was really nice for Tony Lil, but Dreadzone now opting in for the Ashe, so not the Tristana that they pulled last game, kind of changing that bot lane a little bit, and kind of doing what Sejuani did in a sense. Instead of having the Glacial Prison, you now have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It gives you a little bit of an opportunity here for some of those picks that we just didn't really see coming out too much. I mean, we did see Power over Ethernet Sejuani getting a lot of kills when you would rather see the rest of your members get it. But Omega Gaming here answering with a Vayne, kind of maybe Aiden hovering that Vayne for a second as a little bit of a we know what you want to play in this, and yeah, we're seeing another hyper carry come out from Omega Gaming's bot lane. And if Vayne has the same success that the Kaisa had last time, so Galaki is able to play this Vayne and have the same results, it's going to be very scary for the side of Dreadzone. Last pick coming out now, Wukong. Really offering a lot for your disruption with the double Cyclone ultimates coming through. And Dreadzone, I have a feeling you're either going to want to take the Ornn or the Malphite here. Kind of giving you a little bit of that beefy frontline to deal with the Wukong. And kind of match up semi-fairly into the lane. Probably the Malphite more than anything. We're seeing it now. The Ornn hovered. And will we get the lock in here for the Ornn? And that is going to be a yes. So Ornn locked in. Does give you that late game scaling options, but kind of unlike last game where you had the you had the Tristana, you had the Rise. I think now a lot more of your eggs need to be in this Rise basket, as Ashe is going to be sitting more on this utility kind of role for the side of Dreadzone. With
Sorry about that, Jace. I am back now.
Oh, no worries. Just kind of going through. We do see the draft completed here for the side of Omega Gaming. Just to recap, we have Wukong, Kindred, Syndra, Vayne, Leona, facing into Ornn, Hecarim, Rise, Ashe, and Rel. So Faye, some of the interesting draft adaptations that we talked about, Dreadzone opting not to repeat the Tristana, kind of waiting things out, and Omega Gaming decided to ban away the Kaisa instead of letting Dreadzone have that. So that was some interesting draft adaptation. Dreadzone opted to take the Hecarim away, um, forcing Omega Gaming to really go for that Kindred instead. So some interesting draft adaptations. And Faye, do you think they're enough?
We'll see. I'm very concerned about the late game of Omega. It is, I think, it's just objectively better with Kindred and Vayne. So we'll see if this is gonna boil down to if Dreadzone can end the game quickly.
Well, they do have a little bit of a late game insurance policy with the Ornn with the Rise, but I don't think it stacks up well to the late game insurance policy of a
I
Vayne.
don't. Yeah, I would say I don't know. If I would pick that over the Vayne and the Kindred.
Right, and I mean, kind of like you're talking about, Kindred, depending on the itemization, and Vayne, depending on if they're able to get online or not, like, they're going to be able to shred through this Ornn and this Hecarim, and even the Rel, like a wet tissue. So, it's going to be, once again, a story of where the leads go, and if we see the Galaxy kind of getting ahead like they did in Game 1, picking up the double kill, um, and really getting that early start. We saw what happened. Pepsi disrespected a little bit of Galaxy's lead, jumped in with Galaxy having a serrated Dirk, and that blow up potential was just dirty.
Not to mention that gank when Hecarim was there too.
Right, when the Hecarim beat the Sejuani to the bot lane play.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be it's going to be a net positive seeing Power over Ethernet on something a little bit more comfortable, and I really think that Omega Gaming last game, when in their draft phase, really wanted to take that away, right? So it might be something that they're worried about, might be something a little bit disruptive to what they want to do, because I mean, like I said, that was Miharu's first time playing the Hecarim in ages, right? It's also going to be Miharu's first time playing this Kindred in ages, so I'm really going to be keeping my eyes on. But we have seen Galaxy pick up the Vayne quite a few times, and kind of like I was talking about before, the Leona and the Vayne and Kaisa are typically their two go-to AD carry support combinations with that champion. So gonna be keeping my eyes on that, Faye, and really, like I said, if that bot lane does not go in their favor, this is gonna be a very uphill battle for Dreadzone to come back from.
If either Kindred or Vayne get ahead early, it's gonna be very, very difficult for them to handle this.
Certainly. We did see a little bit of a delay coming out as they started draft and then had to go back, and now we're doing draft again. So the things kind of going like you'd expect. No crazy lane swaps. We're not seeing like a bot lane Ornn and top lane Rel, which would make absolutely no sense. But things looking pretty standard. And we talked about the late game horizon that Dreadzone will have to hopefully not deal with if they are able to end it out. But overall, who do you think has the upper hand with this draft day?
I think it's gonna go to Omega here, just because their front line is non-existent if Vayne and Kindred get ahead. That is if. However, if somehow they don't get ahead, somehow they don't get to go online, and they fall behind, then I think DZG has a really good shot of winning with this engage. Ashe has a really long range, reliable engage. They have Hecarim and Ornn to follow up with Rel and Rise. It's a really good engage comp, again, from them, which is what I expect to see from DZG at this point. But will that be enough? And that's going to matter on whose carries get the gold.
Absolutely. And Dreadzone pulled the trigger a lot last game, but the bullets weren't in the chamber, right? So they pulled the trigger when they were missing Rise after, like in the dragon fight. They pulled the trigger without having, the Malphite in position to follow up with Unstoppable Force. Like, support on this Rel is doing great things, and I love watching him play this champion. But really, it's just a matter of seeing him execute when the team is in the proper position to follow up. And another thing, too, Mobster Penguin really didn't have any great realm warps to capitalize on, and then was also caught out of position a few times. So, with that being said, I definitely want to see them short some of those things up. Faye, do you have any final thoughts?
I I'm just really, really hoping that the gold gets put where it needs to be on the side of Olympus. That is like their main issue that I'm noticing tonight.
Absolutely. So no more kill steals coming out of Power over Ethernet. But ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering our 3-minute spectator delay. So catch us back shortly as we see Game 2 of Omega Gaming Revenants versus Dreadzone Gaming Olympus. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for Game 2 of Dreadzone Gaming Olympus versus Omega Gaming Revenants. So we're kind of seeing the members take to the rift now, as I think we're just getting a 5-man fan out from both sides like last game. Once again joined by Faye. Faye, what are your thoughts as we go into this one? Was it enough of a draft adaptation?
I'm not too sure yet. It's gonna really pan out again to Oh, sorry. By the way, I'm like it's really like hurting my throat to like deepen my voice, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit deeper so it's not too high pitched and gray on people's ears. Um, but like I was saying, I don't know yet. It's gonna really depend on again like how these lanes pan out. I like the cleanse on the Ash here. I think it's a very safe idea. I think it's a very good idea for her, especially with this lane comp. Very, very
It's
good.
it's interesting to actually see it. Typically, when you see the cleanse come out, there's a lot more of like reliable stuff to worry about, like an RA charm or an Ashe of their own, right, for a cleanse in the bot lane. I mean, just kind of playing safe from Jadon is interesting, right? But uh, Zenith Blade connects, a follow up Q comes out, then yeah, that's something you got to be worried about. I don't know if I would have taken the cleanse over the heal here, but that's just my personal thoughts. As
Um,
we're kind of just seeing a little bit of a Noodle opting to smack people around. But Faye, once again, Noodle going for the teleport ignite here. Very aggressive, very confident on this champion. And typically you only really see that on champions like Camille or Gwen. Um, but to see it on the Wukong, he's confident in just saying that his clone's got to be enough.
I think it's very, very bold, and I think it speaks about the level of comfort he has with his champion. And I think if he's comfortable to do that on Wukong, that you should really, really be careful about how you're going to approach this lane. Hopefully, not at all, because Wukong is really, really good in my opinion right now.
Oh, absolutely. And these trades are not going in On's favor as he's doing whatever he can to pick up the CS that he can. But, 3 looking down the barrel of 9, granted the wave coming in here onto the tower. But we saw how much mileage Noodle was able to get out of the Ignite last game. A lot of those kills were definitely secured from the ticking Ignite as the Clud got onto some the safer members of Dread Zone and definitely did not make them look safe at all. As things are kind of just stagnating here, not seeing too much CS kind of going the way we'd expect in each lane. But where do you think the big breakout moment's gonna be here, Faye?
Ooh, it's gonna happen in either the jungle or the mid lane. It's gonna be one of those two. Cause if I'm Omega, I'm looking for opportunities to push my push a lead to my Vayne or my Kindred, because if I can get their leads early, then that just makes the game that much easier for me.
Absolutely, and I think it might be on this bot side as Maharu's cleaning up Krug's looking over it, but I think some of the pings are going to come out here as they did have a ward in that tri-bush. Hecarim right now looking at this Scuttle Crab, but Syndra is here, there's 2 members here. Power over Ethernet forced to flash over the wall. Did pick up that Scuttle, denying the stack as a stun will connect onto Mobster Penguin. Electrocute coming out. I don't think any more is going to happen after that, but we're seeing a stun come down here now. A support did get locked up, just backs up. And yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything really boil out over that, but I think Dread Zone, yes, they blew a flash here, but denying that stack I think feels pretty good if you're Power over Ethernet.
Denying that stack early is crucial in my opinion, because early stacks make a big difference in how much quicker that champion is going to scale, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Wukong on the top side smacking the Ornn with his cane, or staff rather, and chugging some potions. No longer on any potions, so if any more trades come out, then they're going to go Ornn's favor, but Ornn didn't build any items yet, and Wukong still has that Ignite available, so might have a little bit of a fight here if Tony Mill decides to go for it, and he does! Damage coming out now, Wukong turning around, auto-attacking a few times, not going to see anything more of that. But, yeah, kind of just exactly what you'd expect in the top lane. I think as time goes on, Wukong is going to be able to do a lot more and more and more, especially when he completes the Sheen item. So, Divine Sunder, there it is. Sorry, that took me a little bit. Haven't played League in like 2 weeks, sorry. But yeah, Faye, kind of seeing exactly what we were expecting. Ornn actually taking the CS lead as he takes a recall here. And is going to be opting for that Balmy Cinder first item. But, yeah, just kind of in that lull state right now. Just chilling, just vibing.
I won't complain about it too much. Like, they're going to take this game slow. I think that is the best course of action for Olympus.
It depends on how slow they go, right? Like, we did still say that they're looking down the barrel of a Vayne, Syndra, Kindred, so a little bit sus there. One thing I didn't mention earlier, Faye, we did see the Ignite come out from Zui's Syndra, so the non-flash summers down for both mid laners here, so we'll see what that boils down to or equates to here in a bit, if anything.
If anything. I mean,
Power over Ethernet looking to E in, does not pop Ghost just yet, gets stunned. A lot of damage coming out, the ultimate coming out from the Syndra as First Blood does go over. Power over Ethernet just walking into his own demise there. And yeah, not something you wanted to see as Zui says, thanks for the donation, gets First Blood.
Very unfortunate there, and again, I feel a little overzealous from Power over Ethernet. He's looking, but I don't know if he's looking at the right places at the right time. You picking up what I'm putting down?
I see what you're picking up and putting down as we see damage coming out now. Support getting locked up, gets stunned, but the damage is not going to be there. Galaxy Meep looking for it. I think maybe 2 autos away from proccing the Silver Bolts, does not get that kill. But, I mean, kind of like we saw in chat, I'm sitting here waiting for a Hecarim to E and then Ghost. And then Trey pointed it out. Hecarim doesn't have Ghost, and that's not something you see very often, if at all.
Not too sure about not taking the Ghost there, considering that is a very quintessential summoner spell for that champion, but who knows? Maybe he has like a new Krabby Patty secret formula that we're just not aware of, and he's just built different.
I don't know if that's the case here, but I mean, it did pay a little bit of dividend in the bot lane when they were able to get the scuttle. But Jadon sitting here, maybe looking for the Zenith Blade. Syndra does not have access to that unleashed power on the Syndra here, and does not have teleport. I thought they used Ignite earlier. I guess it was a teleport. Maybe I'm just, summoner spell dyslexic here, as I mixed up the electrocute and the teleport. But yeah, Jadon was sitting there in the mid lane, not really going to get anything out of it, and sitting on 3 biscuits as well, just kind of vibing, just kind of chilling. And outside of that mid lane hiccup, we're not really seeing too much action here, Faye.
Listen, if the game is going to dip itself into a little bit of a lull, it's going to dip itself into a little bit of a lull. Who are we to, I'm forgetting the English language, Sometimes it's really hard. I can't speak English.
It's all good. We see Power over Ethernet doing his clearing things, and we see the cloth armor come out. Now, I don't know if that's going to be his steel caps for the Yorn, or if he's going to go immediately into the Bramble Vest, which both will give mileage. Haru looking in, maybe to get a little bit of stack secure here. Does get it as the flash comes out. Enchanted Crystal Arrow flash from Zui. Kindred being the target now does get blown up. Power over Ethernet securing the kill. Damage now coming out onto Zui. All of it feared, and boom, Monster Penguin gets the kill. 2 quick kills going over to the side of Dreadzone Gaming. Rise picking up one, Hecarim the other, and that does put them back in the driver's seat for the gold lead. Dragon still on the table as we're seeing some pings come out now, and I think with 4 members strong, Dreadzone should be able to secure this. Top lane kind of just doing their things as Tony Lil does secure a control ward, and Nodal just kind of trading on when they can. But we're pretty much seeing a repeat of last game, just that tank versus bruiser matchup, Faye. Dreadzone should get this Drake, and kind of everything that you'd expect after that fight. What are your thoughts now that we're kind of seeing things boil out the way that they're boiling out?
If they can keep doing that and just making sure we're putting gold on these carries early, because I'm beating a dead horse at this point, we're going to be solid because Scoops, as we've seen before, he's really good at running away with a game.
Right, and getting that first kill now, or I'm sorry, not first kill, but getting that kill does help balance out the kind of little oopsie that PoE made in his lane. That's a tilting thing. Your jungle comes in and just gets nuked, and you're like, bro, what are you doing with your life, right? So, like, maintaining that mental is going to be very important for Scoops, and if they're able to pick up the game and run with it, you're not going to hear any complaining from me. That is for damn sure. And kind of like we saw in chat yet again, like Kindred is really wanting to play for these marks. You saw them bring over the Syndra earlier to get the Scuttle mark. That didn't pan out for them. You saw them then do the same thing again for those Raptors, and they were caught with their hands in the cookie jar, right? So if that continues to be the story, if Dreadzone keep playing around these marks and say, hey, Kindred, as we see the stun come out, damage now coming out, Monster Penguin instantly flashes away. More and more Unleashed Power does come out, Kindred securing the kill. I did not see if there was a mark on that Kindred when that happened, but Syndra with a beautiful stun there from the E, and they do secure that as they do drop this Herald in the mid lane, and they're gonna get a lot of gold here, Faye.
Not looking good in the case of that gold going there.
Well, things are still even. We see Pepsi running mid, trying to stop, the Herald from getting any more. But yeah, a lot of gold going out, balancing out this game, especially after that Raptor Pit mishap. But yeah, they had the right people at the right time to follow up on that CC. That was very well done from the side of Omega Gaming.
Very smooth. We're gonna see if they can keep doing that. Both of these teams are just like, they're doing the right things. They seem to be at the right place at the right times in like some situations. and it's making the game certainly not boring. I'll
Right,
give you
and we
that
do
much.
see damage coming out now, as I think that's going to be Jadon being focused down and does get picked up by Power over Ethernet. Kindred coming down, uses the ultimate to try to save their support, but it just comes out too slow, as now Monster Penguin is down here. Maharu being the target, does get rooted up, does get killed, and the team running in, roaming down, and picking up 1 or 2 quick kills. Jadon and Miharu both falling to the side of Dreadzone Gaming. Gold lead now swinging back in their favor, as they're going to probably pressure down some of these plates on the bot side. And Ornn just kind of still doing his thing. We did see that fight go out earlier. Nodal using his ultimate, trying to get in, but Ornn just kind of walked around and was like, all right, man, go ahead and smack me all you want. Did opt to go for that Bramble Vest, so the Conqueror not healing nearly as much as it would otherwise, and I think Steel Caps has to be the next buy from the Ornn here. But, yep, Dreadzone kind of taking command in some of these fights, and it's looking good for him.
And that's what we want to see as well, as Dreadzone fans rooting for our boys, as they would say, because my brain cell is dead. This is looking good for them. We're seeing them put the gold where we want it to be. I know it's saying that we don't want to see the jungler getting the kills, but I think in this situation, it's fine because he can take this power and hopefully we want to see him rotating it into the other lanes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really want to highlight here is the invaluables or the intangibles that you're not really seeing coming out of this Ashe, right? These hawk shots are providing so much information for Dreadzone to really do what they want to do. And these enchanted crystal arrows, have just been hitting where they need to. Even in the fight in the topside Raptor pit that we talked about, while yes, it didn't hit somebody, it did force a flash, right? So we're seeing this Ashe pick be a lot more valuable already than the Tristana pick was all last game, as Monster Penguin looking in. We'll get a little bit of damage out. Not going to get too much more. Jadon once again in the mid lane. Damage coming out now. Unleash Power coming out. And Zooey does pick up the kill on Monster Penguin. And a beautiful roam from Jadon. Really swinging that around in Omega Gaming's favor.
That was a really good roam. This Leona's really good at putting pressure across the map, and that's what we like to see. And Power for Ethernet will be coming in and picking up the Syndra, and she kind of got a little bit shredded by him, and we like to see that.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing the fight now in the bot lane as Galaki will fall to Pepsi, and Red Zone's bot lane is looking 90 times better than they did last game. These 2v2s definitely going in their favor, and yeah, that trade kill coming in, Power over Ethernet blowing the ultimate and the E, knocking Zooey into that tower and really getting a lot of mileage back after that things just did not go well for Mobster in that 2v1. So Dreadzone now in the driving seat for the second Drake of the game, and sitting at a 1.4k gold lead here as well. So looking like a lot better of an early game for them, and hopefully, like I said, things can transition well for them in the mid game.
I'm very hopeful. I think they can transition this power well. They do get that second dragon, and it is a Mountain Soul, and I do like this Mountain Soul for Olympus here because they're going to need that extra resistance and that shield to help survive this Kindred in the Vein in the late game.
So I agree with the Kindred, however, with the true damage coming out from Silver Bolts, I mean, percent armor is percent armor versus true damage, so it's like, I mean, guess.
You can pretend it makes you feel a little bit better about yourself, you know? I mean, it's the feeling of usefulness. It's what I tell myself every time I play support.
So one thing that you mentioned last game, and kind of in the transition to, right, Faye, is Power over Ethernet kept getting all the damn kills. And while, yes, that wasn't great on a Sejuani, it's a lot better for a Hecarim in this situation. Because, I mean, the only two people that you really want the kills to go to are maybe this Hecarim and definitely this Ryze. So definitely things going a little bit better with Power over Ethernet, you know, just kill securing, right? Let's be positive here. Kill securing in both of these games, and it's a lot better of a storyline in this game for sure.
Oh yeah, and you know what? We love to see it, you know? We want to see these guys doing well, and I'm glad to see that they're bringing it back in game 2. Hold on, I have a kitty who needs to be let out.
No worries, as we see Mobster Penguin now sitting in this 2v1 matchup, getting a lot of damage out on Jadon, and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out, but Miharu was in the bot side jungle for some reason, gonna get the heal up, but will not want or win that fight, as they do get the 1v1 kill for the Hecarim, and it did look like Mobster Penguin secured Jadon, so another 2 quick kills going over to the side of Dreadzone. First tower did fall to the Syndra, who was chilling in mid lane, smacking away at that tower, so overall, once again, net positive for Dreadzone, but losing first tower does hurt a little bit. We're seeing support now look aggressively, does not get stunned up, damage coming out a little bit. Paolo of Ruthernet just kind of chilling down, clearing some vision, doing his thing. And we're just seeing that tank battle up there in the top lane. It seems like Dreadzone really want to avoid giving Noodle anything. They're saying, Tony Lil, you stay top lane, don't teleport, don't join, just smack around. And does cost him a little bit of a CS deficit here. But, you know, overall, Nodal not really being able to get online. We see the Ornhorn come out, damage coming in, and now the ultimate coming out from the Wukong. He's going to take down, does fall, and Ornn getting the solo kill right as I was talking about things not going his way. Fantastic job, and in both games, Tony Lowe coming up with, you know, I'd say arguably surprising solo kills, but I mean, Ornn, you know, he's a tank, assassin, bruiser, skirmisher, whatever you want to call him, this champion is wild.
We take those.
We absolutely take those.
I won't complain. Hey, I think they're doing great tonight so far in the second game. I'm glad to see they're really bringing it back. Let's hope they keep bringing it back for the rest of the night. Looking for this Rift Herald too. If they can pick this up, I'm hoping to see them drop in the mid lane. We want to try and crack that open to try and counter the pressure from Syndra taking that first tower. And with 3 members strong, they could probably ask this Ornn to rotate down with them towards the mid lane. What do you think, Jace?
I definitely think they might look for something. Now, Ornn doesn't have access to the ultimate since he used it in the 1v1, and Nodal kind of coming up. We'll be able to get that that tower in the top lane. And Plate Gold's not really available, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade if they do decide. A lot of damage coming out here from Zooey, and Mobster Penguin being forced to kind of run away. Unleash Power still available for the Syndra. But yeah, absolutely. I feel like if you send all your members down here, then it's going to kind of be like a 1-for-1 trade. They do opt to keep Ornn in the top lane. And we're seeing the instant cleanse come out from Pepsi. Pepsi's Ash. Jadon dropped the Solar Flare, only hitting that member. The fear coming out from the Hecarim is massive as Galaxy will fall. Damage now coming out as Syndra does get in here with the Unleashed Power. Nodal going in with a huge Cyclone, does pick up Rel. And now damage coming out onto the Syndra, who is kind of in the front lane position, but that pushback from Syndra's E was huge and hit 3 members, I think also stunning them up since the Unleashed Power orbs were still there. So I think that was a 2-for-1 with both Nodal and Galaxy falling for Rel's support. Now the ultimate coming out from Kindred as Mobster Penguin's damage on this rise was huge. But yeah, Faye, that was well played from Dreadzone. They just had the members there. They didn't pull the trigger, but they responded adequately, and we're seeing Drake come up in 20 seconds.
I'm hoping to see them rotate to this Drake. I believe that they can take them on another head-on fight if they try to contest this. I think that right now, as far as it stands, this game is theirs, and that right now, Omega has to try to contest them on that 4th dragon. I don't think they're strong enough to handle Olympus with how powerful they are right now.
I do agree that they are certainly in the driver's seat. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's their game. They're in the driver's seat, and they need to make sure they pilot this car correctly. But I still feel like this game is on a timer. Like, the team comp from Omega Gaming eventually should come online and just overpower Dreadzone. But Dreadzone's making a lot happen, and that Hecarim was huge. I think it feared up 4 members, really giving Dreadzone a lot of just free fire time, and we saw that really pan out. As, you know, Galaxy was just unable to do anything in that fight.
Well, if the fights keep happening this way, if they keep denying with Kindred her marks, like, what realm do they get back into this game in time for Olympus to reasonably close out this game at a feasible time frame? If they keep up this pressure, if they can get themselves together, go where they need to go, and do what they need to do, they could close this game out in the next 5 minutes.
Well, 5 minutes is definitely ambitious, but I would love to see it, as we kind of just see them jockeying around, kind of farming up. But nobody really overextending. I think they certainly learned their lesson from last game, you know, especially Mobster, who, kind of like the Kindred, got caught with his hand in the cookie jar quite a few times. Ornn pressuring up, and I think this top lane tower should fall if they push for it. They do have Hecarim in the top side of the map as well, but They're playing this one very safe. I think they're looking for something to really break this game open safely, and they definitely don't want to overextend and potentially lose their lead. Top lane tower did fall, but nobody around was there to collect the gold. So the question is, you know, if a tree falls in the middle of the woods, kind of deal, right? Was it worth it? Um, and I think we're seeing a lot of the mentality here from Dreadzone, right? It's kind of playing on their map movements today, and kind of like I was saying, we see the mentality. Do you think it's wrong? Do you think they're being too passive here?
I think, well, I mean, look at the goal deficits, looking at everything on the map and kind of like absorb and process all the information. I am inclined to think they are. I think that their carries are so much stronger at this point that they could realistically just stack check the enemy team and tell them, hey, we want this objective. Come fight us for it. And
Well,
if, well, no,
go
you
ahead.
can, there you go.
Oh, I was just saying the only objective they can really try to force is the Nash, and they don't have the greatest DPS. They do have the Rise, right? Who I think is sitting on a blue buff, so it might be fine. But they're opting to keep him putting pressure on the bot lane, so they won't have that DPS available. So, do you want to see them go for the Nash play?
Wasn't thinking necessarily Nash, but they could definitely just try and barrel down the mid lane.
Definitely an option, but I feel like kind of going in, maybe taking that tower dive if that's kind of something they wanted to do. Um, could be a little dangerous. They do have a decent amount of wave clear here with Zui's Syndra. So, no, I'm for sure in the same boat. Like, I want to see something happen. I want to see them hit the gas pedal, but I just, anytime I envision it, my brain goes, oh no, this could go bad. But and maybe that's the mentality of Dreadzone too. Maybe they're just afraid to do it. But I really want to see something start to pan out because I still feel like this game is on a timer.
I mean, that's completely reasonable to be like worried. However, if we sit here and we dawdle for too long, if we play this game too slow, then we're giving them the opportunity to get into the game, and that's why we need to be the ones who are proactive. We're stronger. We're in the driver's seat. We need to be the ones who step on the gas. They
And
can't just be passive.
for sure. And I feel like we're seeing the same thing come out of Omega Gaming, right? They're saying, hey, we don't want to overextend. We don't want to give them the opportunity to make a roam warp play on us or really give them an opportunity to step up and answer any member that might push up. So we're seeing both teams play extremely passive here. And nothing really happening. We're just in this slow state. Both teams just seem very comfortable farming things up. And Drake coming up in 45 seconds, and that's the soul for Dreadzone. That might be what they were waiting on. And, that's going to give them a lot of safety, especially kind of like you were saying. Vayne's not online to really capitalize on that true damage, so they're going to be really beefy individuals on Dreadzone to take down. We're seeing the Bush stack come here. Miharu's kind of stepping up a little bit. Enchanted Crystal Arrow hit. Support follows up. Immediately, Power over Ethernet is unstoppable as that Kindred gets deleted from the face of the Rift. 15 seconds coming down now for this Drake, and I think it has to be theirs. And yeah, Hecarim didn't use the Chilling Smite, has that Smite available, so 100% should be Soul going over to Dreadzone.
This is really good for them too. Like I was saying earlier, we want them to have the soul because the soul here is really big for them because that shield, I feel that like it makes a difference. Even if like I'm wrong, like say I am wrong, because that's always possible, and the shield isn't that good. I still think the shield is really good for Omega because they're a squishy team comp, and just like that little bit of extra shielding can make a big difference.
Absolutely, and we do see that the Soul does go over to the side of Dreadzone Gaming. Thank you, Omega Gaming, for the raid. Just to spin you up a little bit, Omega Gaming Revenants did take Game 1, and Dreadzone Gaming sitting here in the driver's seat for Game 2. So we might have a series on our hand. But ladies and gentlemen, Dreadzone picking up the Soul, now posturing around this Nash. And I think they're just making sure they get a little vision control here, but immediately going to be taking over this Kindred as they take some recalls. And I think that's going to be our next pressure point for this game. That Nash is probably going to be where we fight next because I think both teams are just not really wanting to step over the river grounds and really kind of open themselves up for pick potential.
The thing is, again, like, my concern is that we are being too passive, and that is something that could be happening, and we don't want to
As
play the game too soft.
we do see the Realm Warp coming out. Mobster Penguin looking here, but Jadon, once again, kind of spoiling everything that Mobster wants to do. He does end up flashing the Leona ult. 2 teleports coming out. Nodal and Tony Lil, as Nodal does get the shutdown on the rise. Tony Lil now here, popping the ultimate, looking to get trade back, but he is by his lonesome. Members of Dreadzone Gaming on the top side of the map do say, hey, while this is happening, we're going to go for the Nash. Tony Lil doing everything he can to survive for as long as he can. Tower gonna come out, does not get the kill as a beautifully timed stopwatch. No, Zanya's coming out from Zui's Syndra. Dreadzone still up there on the top, or smacking the Nash. Can't see the damage. Here it is, 3,000 and ticking 2,000. And you have to ask yourself, Faye, was that worth it? 2 members dying on Dreadzone, one of them a shutdown gold for the Nash.
I'm honestly not too sure if that's worth it, because we are giving them the gold that's closing the gold deficit, and I think the only answer to that question will be if they get anything with this Nash.
Nodal using a beautiful Wukong clone there to dodge out of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, hits the clone and does get out with his life. A lot of damage on that bot lane tower, and the gold lead, yeah, did shrink to 1.5k, which, if you think about it, Faye, was really only that Nash gold, 300 gold going to 5 members. So, yeah, that bot lane play really did kind of shrink that gold lead a little bit. Dreadzone maintaining that driver position with it just based on the Nash gold. So, it's kind of going back to the discussion of was it worth, right? It's really gonna depend on what they're able to do with this Nash buff. They are barreling down the mid lane tower. I think it will fall as 4 members strong here from Dreadzone. Rise sitting on the teleport, not the Roam Warp just yet, as he did use it to try to pick off Zui's Syndra. We might see a stun come out, might see something, but no Faye. I think we're just going to see a little bit more of the siege as, Dreadzone looking here to break into the base of Omega Gaming Revenant.
Well, hopefully they can here. We're getting close to the 30-minute mark. I want to start seeing some inhibitors going down. I want to start looking for those opportunities to get this game done and over with. And
we see Nodal going in, gets a lot of damage, does get the shutdown on Ashe as he has a beautiful cyclone. Mobster Penguin a little bit late now. Support getting blown up by Galaxy. And now the support from Omega Gaming does secure the Rel. And now Tony Lil is just getting blasted by the Vayne damage. 2 kills going over to the Vayne, 1 kill going over to the Leona, and I think Syndra picked up the other. As 5 members are strong, and Power over Ethernet ran for his life. They're barreling down this mid lane. First tower going to fall for sure, and I think they're going to be able to break into this base. Death timer sitting here at 10 seconds for the bot lane of Dreadzone, 25 seconds for the solo lanes at least, and that is a huge turnaround from the side of Omega Gaming.
That is quite the upset, as they might be able to... Oh no, they do back up. I thought they might try to get a little bit cheeky and push for that next, maybe a Nexus turret, but instead they back off. What an upset though. If I'm Olympus, I'm starting to sweat a little bit because that gold deficit has shifted. We wasted our Baron. We've given them all of our shutdowns. This is not looking good anymore.
Absolutely not. And you saw it. Mobster doing his thing, pushing out the bot lane, and Nodal saw the opportunity to really get in there and get the damage out. He got the damage out perfectly. And all onto the right target. Ashe was completely nullified from the fight. I don't even know if they were able to get an Enchanted Crystal Arrows. Both summoners used from this AD carry, so they're definitely going to be in a little bit of a scary situation in the next fight breaking out, which should be roughly here in a minute, as Elder is definitely going to be a focus. Now we're seeing Nodal going on, smacking Tony Lil and Power over Ethernet, but really negligible damage here. Some members taking the recall to make sure that they're fully stacked up for this fight, but Faye, I'm a little nervous here.
I am too. This game is getting very, very close and getting a little scary now. This game is ticking on and on and on, Jace. We are seeing them fight for the Elder, and I'm gonna say it, I think whoever gets the Elder Dragon here is going to end the game.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow does hit Syndra, but no follow-up damage available. Tony Lil popping the Ornhorn now, and Zui is forced to flash out from the following slow. 27 seconds on this Drake. and 2 big ultimates used from the side of Dreadzone. Nodal now posturing, has that Wukong ult still available, uses it on Mobster Penguin, gets the knock up here, now looking to interrupt some of the frontline support, getting tick, 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 and might go boom, uses the rel to get out. However, Ethernet, I think that was his shield coming out from his item. A lot of damage to low health bars. Galaxy Meat just pumping onto the members of Dreadzone. 4 members dead. I think this is going to be the 5th member dead from Dreadzone as Pepsi falls. They look to turn on this Drake, but I think the pings are going to be coming in to end the game, Faye. That should be it.
What a turnaround from Omega. And like I said, they needed to end this game out way sooner, but they just were not able to find the avenue to do it.
And absolutely, both teams kind of playing passive, and the clock was in favor of Omega Gaming. They played things out. They said, hey, this early game's not going in our favor. Let's slow it down. Let's wait it out, and it worked. And that's going to come up as a 2-0 clean sweep for the side of Omega Gaming Revenants, taking down Dreadzone Gaming Olympus.
Honestly, that was a pretty good... Those are 2 very good games. I think both teams did really well. I think there are things both teams did that were good. It's just a matter of one team just making more mistakes, and that's okay.
Certainly, and honestly, I think that game, Zooey, came up huge. A little bit of things donated to Zooey's on the Syndra, for sure. But, definitely you're seeing the damage and really helping them cart through that early game until the Vayne could come online. And once that Vayne came online, Dreadzone just didn't have the target acquisition to be able to blow Galaxy's Vayne up. And that really hurt Dreadzone, especially in those late team fights where it was just so quick. The tables turned so fast on Dreadzone, and they just were not able to win the fights that they needed to secure the game.
They still had some good fights. I just think in the second game that they took too long to close the game when they were in the driver's seat. Again, and normally that's fine if you want to try and play it slow, but not against this kind of a composition.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching another week of Dreadzone Gaming here. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring home the wins, but catch us tomorrow night as we bring you a little bit of the Aegis Guardians League. I think tomorrow night is going to be Tartarus, so be sure to catch us. And thank you for the host, and be sure to catch us tomorrow.